Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I'm Vikram Oza, and this evening we start with a question that the world's richest investors and indeed the world's biggest companies are now asking. Is longevity of life the next trillion-dollar business? Because it would certainly seem so. Look at what we are dealing with today. The new money mantra, is it about the longevity of life? Global capital quietly pouring into the science of living longer, because there are examples out there. Look at Altos Labs, the company backed by Jeff Bezos. It's valued at nearly $3 billion. It's one of the largest funded biotech bets ever. Take Retro Biosciences, and that's where Sam Altman has not just invested, he's put in $180 million into the company. And that's $180 million of his personal wealth, trying to chase this 10-year leap of human lifespan. And there are Google's founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They've built Calico. And this is, of course, the secretive moonshot unit. They're trying to decode aging itself. So from all of this, it isn't a fringe curiosity anymore. It's big money that we're talking about. We're talking about big labs and big data. We're chasing a bigger dream over here, a bigger future market, as it were. And now you have the poster boy of the consumer side of this booming industry as well. We're talking about Brian Johnson, the world's most famous biohacker. Brian Johnson spends $2 million a year eating the same food at the same time every day, tracking more than 200 biomarkers. And why? All to age backward. And you may recall that quirky interlude as well that Brian Johnson had in India, where he cut short an interview with Zerodha's Nikhil Kamath because he said the Delhi air, in his words, were destroying his anti-aging protocol. He said the indoor AQI was 130, that the studio ventilation was sucking in toxic air, and that he felt rashes and irritation within minutes. Later, he called India's pollution a national emergency for longevity. So yes, we know that. We have spoken about it on the big question as well, about Delhi's air pollution and how that's going to perhaps drive business. But that's, of course, a whole new show. Right now, when we are discussing the business of longevity itself, we're looking at Zomato CEO Deepinder Goyal, who has jumped into the fray through a tweet that has created quite a buzz. He suggested that human aging may be caused by gravity pulling blood downward, and that going upside down regularly may slow the process of aging. So over here, Deepinder Goyal is asserting that gravity is a primary driver of aging, and he is presenting this as a gravity aging hypothesis from that research venture he has, which is called Continue Research. So no, it is not an established scientific fact, and yes, the internet has exploded. Is this science? Is this satire? Is this wellness? Or is big business now blending influence with biological guesswork? So tonight we're cutting through all that noise and asking our big question, which is, Jeete raho. Yes, live long. But is longevity now the new money mantra? And to answer that, let me introduce you to our panel. Joining us is Mickey Mehta, the holistic health guru, is with us. Also with him is integrative health expert. Preeti Rao is also with us. Arpit Agarwal is an investment partner at Bloom Ventures. Dr. Kaustubh Mahajan, director of neurology at Fortis SL Raheja Hospital. And Shubhendu Panigrahi is here, co-founder and CEO at Foxo. Great to have you with us. Do tell us from your perspective as an investor, Arpit, if I can begin with you, what's your sense from the kind of claim that has been made? And we are reacting right now only to Deepinder Goyal. But at a broader level, we're talking about the business of longevity. And it seems like a lot of money. And there's a lot of data as well. And we're talking about a business that's likely to grow. So this human aspiration for a longer life is perhaps driving it. But what's your sense of where we are and whether we're going to see this grow? Because that's what a Deepinder Goyal tweet today is suggesting.
See, at this point of time, one can clearly say that once you have amassed a lot of wealth, especially if you are well endowed and you were privileged, what is the next frontier you want to capture? You will definitely want to capture a timeline that you can live longer and enjoy your wealth and fruits of your success. That is how, of course, at every point of time in our history, people have tried to find ways of living longer. And this is one other attempt, obviously, for people to find a better way to say, what can we do better? Can we really find a way that long life is possible. What has happened, however, is that last 2, 3 years, actually last 5 years, longevity science has come to life because it is now possible to measure aging, not just by chronological age, but by measuring something in biomarkers, which is a lot more dependable as a sign of aging. It's like saying that if someone has wrinkles, one can say what age that person may be at. And biomarkers are and if you can and then once you have these biomarkers, you could actually measure them and find ways of improving those biomarkers and hence claim to have reverse age. So that is definitely changed. The other thing that has changed is that with the presence of AI, it is now possible to have a holistic view about someone's health, which can be used to eventually impact these biomarkers called 12 hallmarks of aging. And that putting together has brought longevity science to life. It is still very far away from being mainstream. It is still, in many ways, one can say it is experimentative, and people who are using this should definitely exercise caution. At the same time, people like Brian Johnson are always creating new age and new symbols and new science, which could eventually, which makes a lot of debate. And Deepinder Goyal's tweet is in that context.
It certainly is. But health guru Mickey Mehta, what's your take on this? You've been in the wellness business. Obviously, people who are in wellness are hoping that they have a longer life, the quality of life goes up, and indeed, they have a longer lifespan as well. And that's been the human aspiration, like I started out saying. We are looking at life expectancy going up as well. And you're in that business, Mickey. What's driving the business of longevity today?
The proof of pudding is in its eating. I am all of 64, 45 years in business. I, in fact, introduced holistic health to India. I don't take anything artificial. The very concept of Sata Ayusha, Ayu means life, and Ayurveda is about the science of life. Everything that Ayurveda ever said is being repeated by modern science in different avatars. First of all, Brian Johnson, his immunity is so low that with little bit of pollution, he got rash and he got uncomfortable. People practicing anti-aging and spending millions of dollars, immunity should be high. Their T cells and B cells should be secreting the most. The diaphragm should be moving 12 centimeters. And 5 lobes of their lungs should be corresponding with 5 lobes of the brain. All that is missing, and rest is all hogwash. So Ayurveda science said this thousands of years ago, that it takes 7 days for your stomach lining to change for new, 30 days for your skin to change for new, 90 days for your musculoskeletal to change for new, and 1 whole year for your whole being to change for new. And science started saying this only 20, 30 years ago. Most importantly, Ayurveda also said that Panch Mahabhut, your 5 elements in the right ratio, give you the rationale of longevity. That apart, Ayurveda says that breathing is fundamental to human health. Number 2, movement. Number 3, stillness. Number 4, sound. Number 5, silence, visual, olfactory. These are responsible to stall your age and reverse your age. The forces of entropy, which is time, matter, space, light, motion, mass, causation, effect.
Tell me, if I may interrupt, Mickey, tell me how much of this science, the holistic science that you pursue, that you prescribe, how much of that is responsible for the life expectancy going up? How much do you associate with the kind of strides that science has made to what we practice or know as Ayurveda, as our traditional science, if you can call it that?
Science is very much in its infancy yet, because autophagy is nothing but our 1 meal plan a day with ancient yogis practice, eating before sunset, is everybody professing. So, that is one example. Microbiomes were understood by Ayurveda hundreds of years ago, and science only found it 30 years ago. So we have the entire knowledge.
We have the knowledge. We have the knowledge.
We have the wisdom on which people are replicating and creating hacks.
But
Hacks cannot heal you.
correct. So now hacks are coming through. And indeed, a lot of money is going into them as well. Dr. Kaustubh Mahajan will perhaps tell us about the scientific drive towards working on longevity of life. Doctor, people are living longer worldwide. Life expectancy has gone up by nearly 25 years in the last century. What would you put down to the actual reasons behind this? Is it better medicine? Is it cleaner living? Is it something else?
Yeah, so as we see, as the technology is advancing, we are seeing more and more people living beyond 70 years, 80 years. Earlier, our life expectancy in India was around 60, 64. Now it's gone beyond 70. So one of the most important is science, as we understand what is going to harm our health, what is going to improve our health, like daily physical activity, breathing exercises, staying away from pollution. We know what harms us, we know what benefits us in some sort of way, which earlier people didn't know. And this is helping us more to live a longer life. Second is technology has advanced to know how quickly we can detect certain abnormalities. There are biomarkers, there are radiological markers which help us detect certain things like cancer. With aging, cancer increases. We have these cancer markers which we know that this patient has cancer and we can treat it early. Similarly, so we have a technology which helps us to detect diseases earlier, and that's why we can treat it better.
Correct.
And third is definitely therapeutics. Now we know exactly at what level what is happening, and that's why we are able to treat it better.
Correct. So, but now there are biohacks, and I don't know what your take is on that. Because is this science at a nascent stage before you have your experiments proving it? Is that what they are calling biohacks? Because is that the start of a process? And you have several of them, and research is all about that. Mickey Mehta says that, look, these are biohacks, so he's dismissing them. He says, we already have the knowledge, so why do we even need to go in that direction? What's your take as a doctor?
So science is about asking the right question. There is always an hypothesis. So for this discussion, that gravity is going to increase your life expectancy.
Yeah.
So it's a hypothesis. Now you should be asking the right question. Okay, then when gravity is a constant for all the people, all the species in Earth, why people age differently? So if you're able to answer this question, then this hypothesis will be done for a study material.
Fair enough.
But otherwise, these questions are unanswered, then why take the study also?
So
These biohacks ask the right question by a proper committee, then you will get whether the hack is correctable or not.
Correct, fair enough. You know, Shivendu Panigrahi, you seem to be agreeing with the doctor. Now I'm seeing all the startups, whether it's the US, Europe, wherever, they're raising millions to help people live longer. But what exactly are these companies promising? Is it about better sleep? Is it about better movement, early disease detection, like doctors pointing out? What's really driving the money in that direction?
Yeah, so Vikram, good question. In fact, before that, I would like to also mention that when we talk about longevity, we are not just talking about lifespan, right? We're not talking about life expectancy. Today, what happens is when we cross, let's say in India is diabetes capital of the world, right? When we cross 45, 50, for the next 20 years, we have diseases, right? And that's it. That's where you suffer, right? So even if you are living longer today, you are actually suffering a lot in your last 20 years, 15 years. And you become the customer of the healthcare, right?
Yes.
You are in a different, people call it as a vegetative state, right? You're on medicines, you're on pills, you're on, let's say, blood dialysis, blah, blah, blah. So what means is that what we promise, like companies like us, Foxo or any other longevity startup, what they promise is something which is called as Healthspan, right? It's not lifespan. Lifespan is the time of basically years that you live on the planet Earth, right? That's your age, overall age. But Healthspan is the quality of life, right? What we promise is what everybody has actually pointed out here and there is to be disease-free, right? Can you be disease-free? Can you be at 80 and be disease-free? Can you be symptom-free?
Right.
Can you be pill-free?
Right.
And can you be at the peak of your health for as long as possible?
Correct. But that's a very important question. And I want to take that across to Preeti Rao as well, who's been waiting patiently. Preeti, you've heard the takes from the gentleman. What's your assessment? Because this entire line that is being taken, that it's more about health span than lifespan. Has that shift in mindset actually happened? Are we seeing that? And is that how businesses are also shaping up?
Yes, thank you for that question. So first of all, let me give you some data. And you were asking a profound question, say how much of our life can you quantify depends on habits, right?
Correct.
So if you look at research says there are 4 things that affects our lifestyle, affects the quality of our life. One is the quality of healthcare. Second is the quality of the air. Third is the gene pool. And fourth is lifestyle. 49% of the quality of life that we live, or whether we will invite diseases or not, depends on our lifestyle habits. Okay, so if no matter how much we talk about this hack and that, if we are able to create lifestyle habits and sustain them, the challenge is most people know they should eat healthy. Most people know they should not inculcate stress. Most people know they should sleep on time, right?
Right.
People know that they should exercise. The challenge is not in the knowing, the challenge is actually in the doing.
Correct.
Therefore, enabling individuals to take empowerment, to take accountability for their life. The biggest challenge for human beings is they want to change, they're not able to take accountability. To empower people so that they can change lifestyle habits and they can have an improved quality of life, not just longevity, the entire health span. And when we look at health, we can't look at it unidimensionally. We'll have to look at physical, emotional, social, spiritual, occupational health, right?
Yes.
So all of these factors are intertwined and interconnected. When there is imbalance in one area of your life, that affects other areas of your life. So for example, if you are stressed at work, you will not possibly have enough time to prepare good, healthy food. So the whole concept of looking at individuals in a holistic perspective is really, really critical. And that's exactly what we are doing at Velji, where we are training health coaches who are knowledgeable on holistic health, behavioral science, and human behavior.
So there is
on the other hand, when we look at technology interventions, whether that is AI,
right,
this is artificial intelligence that gives you data, gives you analysis. It has a place. But we also need human intelligence where there is a need for empathy, for there is a need for compassion, right? And that can never be replaced. For the longest periods of time, human beings were supposed to live healthy. But by this chronic stress, we have inculcated in ourselves.
Indeed.
We've not been able to embody.
But when today we talk about a lifestyle change, and we're talking about a change in mindset as well, Arpit, I just want to understand how the business is developing. How is growth in the longevity business being driven? If you're saying that $40 to $50 billion, that's the size of the industry that it's going to grow into, in a couple of years, in a few years from now, that's the size of the industry that we are likely to see. Is it going to be driven by rising incomes? Is it about the life expectancy that we are talking about, a healthier lifestyle? What is going to drive this growth right now? Because yes, there will be biohacks. There will be people who believe in holistic health. So when you talk about the entire industry as such, the longevity industry, I just want to understand what the growth drivers, the strongest growth drivers will be.
See, I don't think we will ever be able to bet on things which are still in the domain of hacks. As Doctor has already pointed, you need to have data, you need to have proper science. And once the proper science is made available to average people, is when you are likely to get any benefit of it. So first of all, science has to emerge. One can only depend on something which is data backed. And all the providers who are using the best of the science are likely to first get off the ground faster, like for example, Foxhole. That's one. Second, because this is so unique and in a relatively niche environment, the number of providers are fewer and fewer people even realize the value of it. It will remain in the domain of quote unquote wealthy people, maybe India 1 for some time. These are the top 1 million households of India, because those are the people who will make one, the change is required, and two, pay the providers and take the intervention that they need to. Average people in India probably will not get there in 5 or maybe even 10 years. But once you are able to establish that there is value in it, eventually, like all technology, it will become cheaper enough for average middle class people to be able to afford a higher and longer life health span or lifespan, and you will be able to then see longevity becoming far larger. This will obviously be constraining, including various different parts of the market like providers, could be wellness coaches, could be wellness gyms, it could be various treatments like, for example, red light therapy or stem cell therapy, as and when it becomes popular and approved by the regulators. It will also include new kind of foods, health foods, and making healthy choices.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen in any hurry, but over the next 5 to 10 years, yes, it will become a tens of billions of dollars industry.
That's indeed what I'm talking about, because the scope is so large and the entire drive towards longevity can be pushed from so many different angles. And Mickey Mehta, you have stood for one particular angle. But then there are trends like stem cell therapy or, cold plunges, biohacking. All of these can become huge. Today we are talking about anti-gravity as well. So this can become a fad. It can become a trend. Within that, how is this that people are going to be drawn by novelty? Is that how the industry of longevity is going to grow? Or do you think it's going to take more than that? Because, of course, the hope is always there that we're going to have a longer life, you're going to have a healthier life. But when you talk about all the trends involved in that entire process to come to something that is more concrete, something that tests time, as it were, and ensures that longer life, what is going to work at the end of the day?
See, stem cells is not more than 15, 20 years old. Okay, glutathione injections, red light. So we used to take sauna, but sauna is also mimicking the sunlight. Anything that is done absolutely naturally will yield you long-term results because that is organic and friendly. Any interference and intervention with your natural intelligence, the body will reject and it will have a long-term effects to the same. Look at Botox injections and so many Botox is failing today. Look at the whole trend of losing weight with Ozempic and Mounjaro. See what's happening. People are falling sick. They're vomiting. They're having diarrhea. Those are not getting reported. Look at gastric banding. Look at liposuction. And look at so very many other therapies. So today we also have bioconsonance. Technology can only boost it so far. It cannot take you to the logical end of longevity. Simple as that. Your choice of nourishment, your choice of movement, your choice of stillness, your choice of silence, your choice of activity, rest is going to determine eventually.
Right.
It is going to be the principles, the foundation principles of health. Health means healing. Healing means making your broken pieces whole again. These small hacks here and there are not healing nature.
They're not going to attack the root of the problem, is what you're saying, Shubhendu.
Never.
A lot of longevity promises, Shubhendu, they boil down to catching problems early. How much of the future of this industry, the longevity industry, is really about early testing and home diagnostics and lifestyle tracking? Which one of that is it?
So it's actually a combination of everything, to be honest with you. And all of the panelists kind of will agree that it's holistic in nature, right? Body is as a system. It's an interdependent system. You can't just go and just work and over-index on one thing, right? So that's the problem with the longevity or biohacking market, is that when we find a certain thing that is working for us, we just over-index on that, right? So what we need to do is we need to think about a more holistic solution, which is driven through data. It's hyper-personalized, and early detection is the critical part of it, right? A diseased body cannot live longer, period, right? It's a very basic thing. And early diagnostic in form of blood, urine, DNA, gut microbiome, all of these are cutting edge things coming up now. Now we have aging clocks, as Arpit mentioned, right? DNA methylation, epigenetic clocks, these things will actually enable us to understand body and where they are at, right? So most of the customers that we have today, they have, maybe when they begin their journey, they have certain issues, right? But we detect it very early on. We work on it through this whole holistic solution,
yes,
including nutrition and exercise and sleep and movement, and then take them to the longevity path, right? So the longevity path is a journey. It's not just a goal. It's a lifelong journey. But it starts with early detection.
It starts with early detection. Dr. Kaustubh, when you're talking about these biohacks and you hear about things like anti-gravity and things like that for longevity of life, are these distractions to you, or do you think they add up to something over a period of time?
Okay, so see, there are certain set of rules where the brain and the mind keeps going towards. Everybody likes shortcuts. So definitely we will try to go in favor of hacks if there is a short way of increasing the life or improving the health. So we are always going to be open for these hacks. But then, as I said, as a scientific person, I would always ask questions. If yes, we will be open to these hacks, but we will ask the questions why and does it really work, and then only kind of tell you whether we should go ahead with it or not. So right now we have already so much data on whatever we have for the longevity do's and not, but still people will always go towards simple, easy, good kind of convenient hacks. So people will always prefer to not to do an exercise but try to kind of sleep in this way or eat in this way.
True.
So that's why so that market is always going to be there, but I will take it as a distraction, but we will be open to the hypothesis.
Well, the business of longevity currently, and as we are seeing it with the kind of tweet that has gone out from Deepinder Goyal today, it does suggest that this business is booming and it's going to grow larger as we go along. But real longevity is still going to come from science, perhaps, good habits, smart innovation. They're at the heart of it. And yes, we do have our traditional sciences, like Mickey is pointing out. A big thank you to my panelists, Arpit Agarwal, Dr. Kaustubh Mahajan, Shubhendu Panigrahi, Preeti Rao. Great to have you with us and your perspective here on The Big Question on NDTV Profit. And viewers, of course, the debate continues. We will keep bringing up these important questions as the news flow continues. I'm Vikram Oza from me and the team on The Big Question. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.